Please welcome Heba Guib, BMW Foundation, Herbert Quandt.
Hello. So, everyone is laughing already. This is a new part and a new segment. Okay, so let's start with telling those who have not been here. I'm Heba Guib from Respond at the BMW Foundation, and we support entrepreneurs who are actively trying to contribute to changing this world to be a better place, combining profit and impact. So, without data, we literally are working in the dark. And in order to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, there are so much good data lacking in order to take the right decisions. And this is coming at the cost of billions of people around the world. The venture I'm introducing to you is tackling exactly this problem with data and technologies that help us to look at places that are unmapped and rarely mapped or unmapped. They're using technologies based on satellite imagery, on-the-ground information and data, and libraries of AI algorithms. Village Data Analytics, VIDA, is responding by bringing people's needs onto the screens of decision makers and investors so that they can take the right decision, evidence-based and data-driven. So I'm introducing to you Dr. Tobias Engelmeyer, an entrepreneur behind VIDA.
Breaking the wall of invisibility. Tobias Engelmeyer, Village Data Analytics.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Perfect, perfectly put together. So yeah, we all live in a hyper-connected world. Probably order your food online, do your shopping online. I myself hardly find the way to the train station without using Google Maps. But now I invite you to go into a different world with me. And you have to take that leap of faith with me. You can grill me about it afterwards. But think about a world that is largely unmapped, about which very, very little is known. That's not it. It looks more like this. It's dark. It's invisible. That's the world where 2 billion people live in the mostly rural areas in Africa and Asia. But this world is changing. I mean, you heard before from Luis that people are bringing internet there. Starlink wants to do, Orange wants to bring internet there. Others want to expand e-commerce there or banking. Engie wants to provide electricity. Dallmayr wants to buy more coffee from there. Governments want to increase their, the reach of their education and healthcare facilities. Just recently, last week at COP, there was a group of international development banks that said that they are building a $100 billion fund to invest into energy access and renewable energy in rural areas in Africa and Asia. And it makes sense. We need to do that from a climate perspective, from a development perspective. So there's this frontier that lots of people want to invest into. But how do you do it if we know very, very little about it, if we're lacking basic facts? We don't know exactly where the people live, how many live where. We don't know whether their marketplaces are and what kind of infrastructure they have access to already. I would argue that underdevelopment is directly linked to a lack of visibility and data. So, like as Heba said, my name is Tobias. I'm a co-founder of Village Data Analytics. We call it VIDA for short. And we have built a data software to solve exactly this problem. With Village Data Analytics, we identify villages, and we put information about these villages into a map. We make them visible, comparable, investment ready. We've been doing this by collaborating with the European Space Agency for the Earth observation part, with the Applied AI Lab here in Germany, with universities in Africa, in Europe, and in the US, and with the AI teams at Google and Microsoft. And what we can do now is we can pull up a village, very quickly say how many houses there are, what kind of houses, what the size of the houses is, whether that village is growing over time, whether they have access to water, what agriculture they have, what kind of infrastructure they have. Do they have access to electricity, for example? We can even look at risks, such as climate risks or political risk factors, and quite a lot more. And we can do that anywhere in the world and at a scale that is getting to instantaneous, and at a speed that's getting to instantaneous, and at a scale of entire countries or continents. Then we make that data available to our customers, and they then add their own data to it, their own data sets. This could be survey information, it could be pictures, drone imagery, it can be sensor data, smart meter data, it can be data from surveys that they take. And what we're building, and that's really the magic of the work that we're doing, is we're connecting location with information in a reliable way for the first time in a part of the world where this hasn't been the case. And that allows us to much more effectively invest, to learn from our many, many mistakes. So we're creating a closed feedback loop. We can start looking at the impact of our investments for the first time in a reliable way. We build VIDA in such a way that we integrate ourselves into the workflow of our customers so that they can use it from planning investments to monitoring investments and running the operations, which unlocks our business model, which is software as a service. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even look at that. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
Apologies. Okay.
No, don't apologize. I'm just a CTO. I do the job. Everybody is treated the same way. That's
sure,
all.
okay, sure.
Thank you very much for the presentation. So do we have questions? You have the opportunity to go on. I feel always so bad. I don't know.
I was looking at
So questions here. Here we have one. Yes, okay, let's start here, please.
Can you talk a little bit about monetization? In other words, give us a concrete example of who your customer is and how he pays for it.
Thank you for that question. That would have come up. So we work with banks, we work with governments, and we work with private sector companies. We've done a lot of work in energy access so far, so we work with mini-grid companies, solar home system companies, governments that want to plan electrification, and the banks that fund that. And we have one kind of business model for private sector companies where we are paid per village, and we have a business model for governments where we are paid per country.
Okay. We have a next question here in the first row.
Yeah, I didn't quite get what this system actually does. You said you're pulling together data from ESA, from Copernicus or something, and then some algorithm scans those pictures and finds the houses and generates that data. Is that how it works?
So we pull together, in the first step, we pull together publicly available data sources, a lot of Earth observation data, including ESA data, but other data as well. Then we add our algorithms to extract information from this data, make that data useful. For example, we've developed an algorithm to understand where the current grid is, where people are actually off-grid and where they're not, using nightlight imagery from NASA, daylight imagery, topographic information, other information. That's the first step. And then the second step is our customers add their data, and then we analyze that data and extract patterns from that data together.
Okay, we have a next question here.
Yeah, thank you for the presentations. I think a very powerful tool. So how do you help against abuse of this data? I mean, you know a lot about the village. Do you have exclusive access, for example?
Who's asking the question? Here, okay, yeah. That's a really good question. Now, we realize that we're building a powerful tool. And we're actually raising money for it at the moment. We're starting a Series A fundraising. And we need to find the right investors that are aligned with our social mission. We want to use this specifically for achieving sustainable development goals in these remote areas.
Okay, do we have a next question somewhere? Online? Roman? No? Anywhere? No? Come on, still have a minute and 20 seconds.
So maybe, can I say one last thing before just to... No? Can I have a question?
Oh, we have a
please?
question.
Thank
We have a
you so
question.
much.
You're safe.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank
I'm
you
in
so
charge
much.
for the rules, so
What a
thank
nice
you.
question.
Go on, go on.
Yeah, so very, very importantly, we have built this to enable impact at scale. I've been working in these remote areas that I talked about for the last 10 years, and we're not reaching the Sustainable Development Goals in most of them, right? And I don't think we will ever be able to reach them unless we invest more, but more importantly, we invest much more smartly than we have done in the past. And that's what we want to achieve with Village Data Analytics. That's the wall we want to bring down. And and we're on track to achieve that with existing paying customers.
Sounds great. We still have 30 seconds
Oh,
in case
really?
you want to add something else.
No, I'll leave you to it. Thank you.
It's still the same question, so we may do that. Oh, no, we have a question, but very fast. Yes, no
Are you
question.
going to use mobility data or too from people, like GPS data from devices?
Yeah, we currently don't, but we can in the future, yes.
Perfect. I think now this is really the last question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.